river red gum is the diviner of the Australian landscape, plotting watercourses all over our arid continent. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more quintessentially Australian tree, with its gnarled yet beautiful form embodying the rugged landscape that it calls home.
This is the Flinders Ranges, 5 hours drive north of Adelaide, home to some of South Australia's most spectacular river red gums. A distinctive part of this landscape, the river red gums have long attracted painters and artists. In 1937, photographer Harold Cazneaux travelled to the Flinders Ranges. An old river red caught his eye.
Here it is in all its ancient glory, the same tree that Cazneaux photographed way back in 1937, and it's still inspiringly stoic.
Titled The Spirit of Endurance, it would become one of Cazneaux's most successful photos.
Cazneaux wrote about this tree. He said, "Although aged, its widespread limbs speak of a vitality that will carry on for many more years. I stood before this giant in silent wonder and admiration."
River reds occur in the Australian landscape where there is either water on the surface or not far beneath it, like along this dry riverbed. Robert Brandle is an ecologist working in semi-arid ecosystems like here in the Flinders Ranges.
So what kind of strategies do they employ to access the water in these courses? Because I assume a lot of it's underground.
Yeah, most of the time these creeks are dry. They'll run for a few days after a rain, but the water's down there percolating along, and they have quite a large central tap root that goes quite deep, as well as having those long lateral roots that go out way beyond their canopy.
And this tree here, is that a kind of good example of how those roots plunge down into the water table?
I guess the ones that you can see there are more of the lateral roots that would normally go out, but because this poor tree here has lost all the soil around there with an erosion event, those roots are going down trying to find that surface water. Yeah, it'll have a massive root in the middle that's going deep down under here. In creeks like this, they actually hold up the water, so they slow it down, and that helps it to soak in. And prior to this channel being here, there probably was a nice big flood out here as well. And so that's allowed the trees to cover the wider area on that low flooded area, and there's some nice big flats where the water's retained for longer, and it's allowed them to establish in large numbers.
This is a prime habitat for the river red gum.
Yeah, anywhere where you get water accumulating and there's a good level of alluvial soil. Yeah.
So how would you describe the river red gum to someone that has never seen one?
I would say look for the really big gnarly dudes.
River reds can be hard to age because, like many eucalypts, they don't develop annual growth rings. But it's thought that some could be nearly 1,000 years old. These older specimens are characterised by large hollows, providing refuges for birds, mammals and reptiles. And sometimes, even humans. Mick McKenzie is a traditional owner and Ardna Mutna elder. The river red gums have had a long cultural significance to his people.
The river red gums look like they play a pretty significant role in the landscape around here. What do they mean to the Adnyamatna people?
Well, we call it a wira, this one here. Pretty significant. These gum trees, yeah. Well, look at them. I mean, the colour of it, the way they're still standing over through drought, fires. You see they got little holler? That's where the birds nest in there. And then our people, they cut a yatindi, a step up there, and then they go and get the eggs. Like that, they'll get a bird, they eat, you know. Or they keep going up and they get the widgery out of the gum there.
So they're a source of survival.
Survival, yeah. It's food. I mean, the gum tree was going to tell you where there's water. Number 2 is going to tell you it's going to give you food. Number 3 is going to give you shelter. Number 4, it's going to give you warmth in the winter. Number 5 is going to give you shade in the summer. So it just keeps on going and going.